swell. Yesterday wind dropped from 30 to 20 knots, and today is sunshine. I still have reef in Maine just because it is easier on autopilot, but today is absolutely perfect. In 15 knots of wind we are doing 6 knots in comfort, and I am enjoying spectacular view from my office. Light wind didn't last too long. The island is still in my sight, but I had in rush to put 2 reefs in Maine and hoist heavy jib. Wind stabilized at 20 knots, and this is very fast sailing. Seas are not too bumpy. I am doing 7 knots over the water, and from time to time I am still getting extra push from swell. Express sailing was for only 1 day, and it was followed by 2 days of very light winds. On the opposite tack I still could not clear Madagascar. Madagascar is 180 miles from the beam of Mighty Chicken. Waters between Madagascar, Durban and Cape Town are one of the worst on the world. In 3 hours the barometer dropped 3.5 millibars, and 5 millibars from noon to late evening. 100 miles to Africa, 160 to Durban, 25 knots of wind. That's 30 knots of wind alarm. I dropped the main, and I am positive that on the screen it will still look like a picnic, but at least now I can go inside I hope at least you can hear a whistling. It's 35 solid now. Only BC can compete with the beauty of South African coast. It was nice and easy today. Hopefully tomorrow we will have sailor's delight. It wasn't exactly sailor's delight because it was a little bumpy, but at least it was very fast. And from time to time I already can see flash of lights at Agglescape, which means that after we jibe on opposite tack we will make Atlantic Ocean. Here it is, Cape Agulhas, south tip of Africa. From East London I was sailing mostly in light winds, but last 100 miles before Simonstown we got another mini blast. Wind cooperates, it drops to 14 knots for perfect photo session when we were around Cape of Good Hope, east side of Cape Point. One more tack and I will round it. I could not ask for better weather. Water is breaking over there on Anvil Rock. Wind dropped to below 10 knots and it's very slow because I am still under the jeep. But at this moment I don't care about boat speed. I am just rounding Cape Point. Well, seals probably think that I am fishing boat and they are chasing me. A few years ago, a friend of mine met fellow who circumnavigate in 15 knots of trade and maximum 25 knots of wind. Is really weather change as much, or I am just blessed with windy conditions? Because trades blow for me 20 to 25 knots like right now, and on every single leg I experience at least 30, usually 35 knots of wind in gusts. Trade winds blow like that 7 days a week for thousands of years. So there is no energy crisis as such, and we know how to harness that energy. We just don't know how to storage it. I guess sailing converted engineer to philosopher. Yesterday afternoon, wind was getting really light, so I decided that I will not sail to the recommended longitude. I jibe, and the equator is only 2 miles straight ahead. 210, and what a difference! We are not only in Western but also in Northern Hemisphere. I don't know what's going on here, and I would be stupid to celebrate prematurely, but if doldrums means reasonably stable wind without vicious squalls, few clouds without thunderstorms, and a little rain to take the deluxe shower, I love doldrums. Today, for the first time in 12 days, it is since my injury, I hoisted reefed main. After all, in St. Lucia Channel, very special moment is waiting for me. It would be nice to be there before evening. Channel between St. Lucia and Martinique. Mighty Chicken just crossed her track, which she left on those waters 4 years ago when I was sailing from Le Havre to Vancouver. In other words, sailing from east to west, we just closed the loop around the world. My dream did come true, and I am one of around 550 solo circumnavigators. Thank you, Misher, for letting me do that. Thank you, dear Chicken, for your support. Thank you, Mighty Chicken, for 38,300 and 52 nautical miles of safe sailing. It is sunset. By evening I should be in a harbor. Diamond Head, legendary rock from era when Brits on St. Lucia were fighting French on Martinique. Le Marine was very good spot to check the boat before Pacific, but first I have to get to Panama. Last gates are open and we are at the level of Pacific Ocean. On the opposite tack I would sail much closer to my proper course to Hawaii, but soon I would also sail along Costa Rican coast, and to find trades I have to separate from the land. Like on every previous leg, this time I also got 30-35 knots of wind, but at least seas are not too rough today. 800 miles to Honolulu, and although not too rough, but definitely the biggest seas since Indian Ocean. Mighty Chicken Reach, beautiful Hawaii. Sailing to Vancouver in the middle of April is a bit of a navigational challenge because Pacific High is not established yet. Doesn't want to ease off, drifting perfectly backwards at speed of up to 3.5 knots. 2 days later and another gale. This one is even more violent. It's 40 knots of wind, gusting to 50. I'm losing time and distance under bare poles, but any sailing is impossible, especially that it's blowing against me. Not for intelligent people. One sunny day, light breeze, first time under full sail, probably 2 weeks, first gale, and life is good.